We are less than 2 months away from the 2025 Tennessee Volunteers football season. We've went over the schedule. We've started looking at wins, losses, toss-ups. Can you get to 8-4? Can you get to 9-3, 10-2, so on and so forth? We know that the projected win total that's set in Vegas or offshore or really anywhere in the United States now, shout out to legalized gambling, we know that those all kind of set the expectation and set the narrative a bit. FANRUN's partner over at VIP Play is the first in the market to come out and list all 12 point spreads for us. Lay them out. Let us know exactly where they think Tennessee stacks up on the road at places like Alabama and Florida. But even they've gone a step further and said where they expect Tennessee to rank in terms of at Mississippi State, at Kentucky. Home games against Oklahoma and Kentucky have been added. Like I said, we got the entire schedule laid out in terms of point spread. Shout out to VIP Play. Go sign up. Use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome offer. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Again, use the promo code FANRUN, all caps. Now that that's out of the way, let's take a look at some of the most interesting revelations from the guys over at VIP Play. Like I said, for a while, we've known that Tennessee roughly 2 touchdown favorites against Syracuse. That comes in right now at minus 13.5. We've known about that. Earlier, we saw the spreads against Georgia open up at 7. On VIP Play, you can get it 7.5 right now if you want to back the Vols at home and you believe in Neyland Magic. Alabama plus 11.5 on the road at Tuscaloosa. Of course, the Vols being the underdogs there. And the opening line at Florida, maybe the biggest swing game on the schedule, started out at plus 3. On VIP Play, it's down to plus 2.5. So, maybe do a little line shopping there to see if you can get Tennessee at the best number at plus 3 or higher for Florida. On the flip side, VIP Play is the best number I've seen for the Georgia spread, getting 7.5. But like I said, that's been out for about a week. We've known that. That's old news. When we look at the new revealed numbers, I'll kind of post them here, right here. Let's look at them. As you can kind of see and as you can kind of scroll, we place them up. Boom, bada boom, bada bing. Even got some over-under. Shout out to VIP Play. Again, promo code FANRUN, all caps. The most intriguing ones, I think, are right here. Tennessee at home against Oklahoma. I think that is a win that many people feel comfortable with. After last year, now Oklahoma has gone out and improve their team, improve their program kind of drastically in an offseason. I give them a lot of credit for all of a sudden taking it seriously, hiring a GM, finding some good transfers. John Mateer, he's going to be a problem at Oklahoma. But as you see, Tennessee still favored in this game, 3.5 points early on. You watched last year Tennessee kind of choke out this Oklahoma team. This is expected to be closer to the toss-up range, if you will. Again, for reference, Tennessee going to Florida, they're getting 3 points. Oklahoma coming to town, they're getting 3.5. The other road trip that we talked about getting a number for was Mississippi State. A little surprised at this opening up at 13.5. Tennessee, less than 2 touchdown favorites going on the road to Starkville. Minus 13.5. My snap reaction, that feels low. Before last year and before Tennessee struggled at Arkansas, I would have said that's the one thing you can bank on with Josh Heupel and his program. They take care of business against inferior teams. They blow them out. They didn't do it against Arkansas on the road. We'll see if they can do it at Mississippi State. That one jumps out to me. I like that number, Tennessee to win by at least 2 touchdowns against a team that was by far the worst SEC team in the league last year, and maybe the worst SEC team I've seen outside of the Vanderbilt division over the last 15, 20 years. No offense to any Bulldogs that may be listening. Kentucky, another road game. Tennessee, as you can see right here, 9.5-point favorites on the road in Lexington. This is a rivalry that, of course, has been pretty one-sided throughout my entire life, throughout the history of the program. Tennessee has only lost to Kentucky once that I would consider to be one that was a head scratcher, or at least a legitimate win. And that was, Butch Jones's last year in 2017. COVID year doesn't count. 2012? Maybe 2011. Yeah, I'm getting old at this point. Yeah, 2011, Tennessee loses to a wide receiver playing quarterback. It comes out that the team was kind of trying to throw the game. So, if you want to count that one too, Kentucky, that's fine. You've beaten Tennessee twice in my lifetime, and probably a lot of your lifetimes too if you're watching this. So no surprise that Tennessee's favored. The number 9.5, I got to say, does feel a little high. I'm not saying I wouldn't take Tennessee and lay these points, but feels a little high just for, kind of the expectations here for this season. I know Kentucky, they're always kind of hyped up in terms of, things are going to turn around for Stoops. This is going to be a great Kentucky team. But still, going on the road always seems a little bit trickier. Tennessee less than a 2-score favorite. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. If you like Tennessee at the 9.5, head over to VIP play and take advantage of it. But I will say the 13.5-point spread against Mississippi State, the 9.5-point spread at Kentucky, and then this third one, I'll just go ahead and give it to you here. Boom. Minus 13.5 against Vandy. Now, I will say that one feels low. Like, assuming Tennessee is not just an absolute terrible team this year, they should be able to kind of have a final game celebration, especially if there's some, playoff implications there. This game is coming off of the road trip to Gainesville. And look, full disclosure, to be fair, everything I said about Kentucky beating Tennessee, you can kind of say similar things, not as drastic, but similar things about the Tennessee-Florida rivalry, especially if you're saying just Tennessee winning at Florida. It hasn't happened a whole lot in our lifetime. So there's a chance this Kentucky game is either a letdown game because the season is quote-unquote over if you are eliminated from playoff contention, or a little bit of a letdown, position just if you have won that game and you're trying to navigate your way to the playoffs, much like you were in 2024. Keep in mind, you came out flat and fell down, 14-0 really early in that game. Now, granted, you blew them out, absolutely blew their doors off. Maybe Nico Iamaleava's best overall game. But I see the 9.5 at Kentucky. I see the 13.5 here against Vanderbilt. And if I were to pick one of those, I would go ahead and get some action in at home. 13.5. Tennessee kind of celebrates Senior Day. So there you have it. The 4 big games that we did not know we got numbers for. Minus 3.5 against Oklahoma. Minus 13.5 at Mississippi State. Minus 9.5 at Kentucky. And then 13.5 at home against Vandy. So I think we have to kind of move Oklahoma into toss-up category. And this solidifies, those other 3 games as likely need to kind of must win. Does it change your opinion at all, seeing these numbers? The Oklahoma game, like I said, a little bit lower. I'll be interested to see where that's actually at, by the time the public really gets a hold of it and the lines start moving. And then, of course, as the season plays out, when Tennessee welcomes Oklahoma in early November, where does that line end up at? Because if you look at just last year, Oklahoma was, early 3.5-point favorites against Tennessee, much like this line. By the time the game rolled around, of course, the seasons had started playing out a little bit differently, and Tennessee went in by kickoff at 6.5. Although keep in mind, I got even all the way up to 8, but keep in mind when it opened up the week of, it was a pick 'em. So maybe the line isn't going to move too drastically by the time the season rolls out. Typically, they're still kind of similar. All right, so there's your 12 games. I'll throw the rest of them up just for reference. Tennessee 36.5 against New Mexico State, 48.5 against ETSU, 31 against UAB. All the point totals up as well at VIP Play. Again, use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus. Does Tennessee, get into playoff contention? Do they stumble? The 7.5 points against Georgia, that gives me a little hope. That feels like the lowest line in that rivalry in quite some time, especially when you look at just in Knoxville. I feel like Tennessee's been overmatched really since 2017. I know 2017 had a similar opening number. Of course, you lost that one 41-0. So I will say, just seeing the numbers kind of laid out over this week, feel a little bit better about our chances against Georgia. Feel a little bit worse about the easiness and comfortability that you'll have against Oklahoma. Let me know your record prediction in the comments. Right now, I'm having a hard time going lower than 9-3 or going above 10-2. Vibes are pretty good right now as far as I'm concerned, so I'm leaning towards 10-2, but don't tell anybody. Plus 300 to make the playoff. I do think there's a little value there for Tennessee. Don't ask Phil Steele, though. He had the Vols ranked at, I think, down at number 44 in his preseason rankings. Okay, well, see you later.